Hi everyone, I know it's a 1 month gap, but I am back with the next video in this Genkit series. This video will cover the final step of this series, that is retrieval and generation in the RAG. If you are new here, you can watch the previous video in this series in the given playlist. So let's start. So in the last video, what we did is extracted all the content as an embedding and store in our cloud Firestore database. Now today in this video, we are going to perform the retrieval part. So what happens in retrieval part when user gives some input on the UI and click on submit button? That query is being sent to the server in our Genkit code. Now the relevant answer is found in our Firebase database and we fetch the relevant information and then send back to the LLM. Then LLM will create user-friendly text as an answer and will show to the UI. So let's see how it is done. So I have created a flow here, define flow, and this define flow retrieve result will show on our Genkit developer UI. So I have passed an input schema and output schema, that is we require a user input in this Genkit code and the user input will be passed in the input variable. Now first here we are going to do is to configure the Firestore and provide to the Genkit. So Genkit can internally fetch all the information regarding the RAG and give us the result. Here I am using the inbuilt function provided by the Genkit SDK defined Firestore retriever. So it will understand the Firestore database and fetch the information. But if you need more control, like what database you need to connect, how to fetch that information, instead of this you can write your own custom code here that will also work. So in this defined Firestore retrieval, I am going to pass the AI object to integrate, then the name of the function. I have passed the Firestore variable. This is the Firestore instance variable that we declare at the top here, get Firestore app. Then there is a collection name that we have to mention. So here we have stored our data in the HR documents collection name. We have to mention the HR documents here. Next field is the content field. So content field means all the content we have stored, that is our text format. So here I have mentioned content. You can also add date, time, order, purchase order, some those kind of data too. The next is the vector field. So here our embedding will work. All the query will work on this embedding data field. So this one is our embedding field. Next is the embedder. So we use Vertex AI embedder text embedding 005. We use the same embedding model while we are using PDF files data to store in the Firebase as an embedding. We have to use the same embedding model to convert a user query into an embedding format, so we can perform some similarity search. Then is this the distance measure, that means how to find the similarity between two embedding elements. The other options are Euclidean and dot products. So by default we use cosine. So we have prepared our configuration. This will not execute, it's just a configuration. Now here it will execute. We are using ai.retrieve function. This will perform the retrieval operation to compare the user query embedding and compare with the embeddings in our Firestore database. So now in the retriever, we are passing the Firestore retrieval part. Here is the query, that means whatever the user has asked is in the text format. Firestore query retriever will automatically convert the user text format into embedding and do the similarity search. Then there is an option. So we might get results 10, 20, 50 results, depends upon the data. So I have limited here only top 2 only results. So there are other options also available. You can pass it here. So what I am going to do, I am to create a structured JSON format. So I have added a key page number 1, 2, 3. This is my local changes only. And then there is a text format, that is the actual text that I have received from the Firebase. Here you can add more data like purchase order, order ID, or any kind of data. You can create a JSON schema to be used later. So I am creating a JSON schema here of the actual result that we have just received. So now we cannot send this JSON data directly to the user and parse it on the UI side. That's not how it works. So we have to reply back in terms of natural language. It is NLP. So for this, I am passing this data to the language model. So for this, I have created a prompt. This tells that be helpful assistant and answer user query in a simple as informative, short and only relevant answer for the user. So in this, I have mentioned that this will be the user query that user has sent, that is the text format. And this is the context. That means LM is restricted to reply with this context only. So this context means this is the actual result that we just retrieved. Now we are calling AI.generate stream. This is just simply like sending a text to the AI model and it's replying something. This is a simple AI conversation. Here I have passed Vertex AI model Gemini 2.5 Pro. You can use any model at this point. There is no restrictions here. You can use Gemini Flash or Lite version also. Then I have passed the prompt. This is a prompt. And temperature 1. Temperature 1 means to be creative. And that's it. Gemini will respond with the actual answer that we can actually send to the user. So here with the response.stack, we can get an actual text and this will return back to the user via Firebase functions. Now let's try on the Genkit UI. So first time we did the rack flow, that means converting a PDF into the database and embeddings. So we don't need this part, we need only retrieval. So for the input, I am going to ask a question. What's the notice period of the employee? So this is a very general question that user can ask and then click run. So you can say it's searching in the Firebase database right now. So retrieval is done. Now it's being sent to the Gemini Pro to create an answer. Firestore query retriever. A query has been passed in the JSON format with the option limit of 2. That is, it needs only 2 results. And in the result, I get documents only 2 objects, 0 and 1 index. Then we go to the generate function and we can see I have passed a prompt and the variable is being replaced with the actual value. This is the user input and this is the JSON I created previously to be used in the LLM. And now we can see the answer here. Based on the document, the notice period of an employee is as follows. During probation 10 days and after confirmation 30 days, that is 1 month. So now let's search in the actual document. So this is the PDF I am using. This is a random PDF that I downloaded from the internet. So this is on the page 12 and you can see section 10 notice period. On probation, the employee can resign service using 10 days. On confirmation, the employee can resign up to 30 days and 1 month. So you can see that the information was accurate and our Genkit program actually fetched the information from this PDF and actually returned the reply to the user. So that's how we make a simple RAG application using Firebase and Genkit. So we have created 2 flows here. You can actually use Firebase functions and call this on your Flutter application or web application, whichever application you are using as a UI frontend for the user. So in a company, if an HR uploads a HR document using a web UI or a mobile app, you can trigger a RAG flow that will actually update all the data and embedding in the Firebase. And then there will be an employee app or employee dashboard web application where you can call the retrieve results, where it will contain a input text field, and this way you can trigger and get the results on the UI. So this was a simple RAG agent. But when we create an agent for a company which has large amount of data, sometimes we have to clean the data and create a proper format so it can be utilized to store in the DB and it can be retrieved and read it properly. Many times this will happen that you fetch some results and you get 20 relevant results. But this is possible that those 20 results might not match as per the user's expectation. So you have to evaluate your output before sending it to the users. And there are many other steps, suppose like don't send any sensitive or unwanted information while we are creating this kind of application. Comment below if you want videos on these topics too. I will surely make it. I hope you enjoy these videos on the Genkit series. See you in the next video. Till then, bye and keep learning.